I hope everyone enjoyed that. Is there any questions? Was that kind of intense? Probably a lot of information there. Does everyone see the power of quick fix lists at least? Right? Do you see why they're so awesome? What you can do with them? See-Do looks really cool. Hopefully you saw that and went, huh, I wonder what I could do with him. I didn't really go over that because it's not the right time yet anyways. We haven't kind of gone over a lot of the commands. But I just personally really liked that. So let's keep on going. Let's do search and replace. All right. Search and replace allows you to be able to do exactly what it sounds like. And it's something that you kind of like need for every editor at this point. It's kind of crazy not to have it, right? It just doesn't feel like an editor. It was in Ed. Ed had search and replace. So you bet you this has search and replace. So we have another one of these curl files. I'm going to take it. I'm going to cut and paste it, and I'm going to put it into the chat right now. Please download it. Let's do this. Let's do some searching and some replacing. Now, at this point, we're getting into kind of a lot of these more advanced areas, right? So this is kind of where Vim, we're really kind of diving into more of the Vimisms, things that don't necessarily exist in all editors. Quick fix lists obviously don't really exist in all editors. But there we go. So let's start with the searching. Now, if you use NeoVim versus Vim, you may have different results. Since I use NeoVim, it may act differently than how your search and replace will work. So let's find out. I believe I should be able to go like this. Set no. There we go. That should be. I believe this should be that should be how Vim should work. So if you're using Vim, these now should line up approximately. So let's start by searching for the word error. How do you search in Vim? Well, you type in a slash. So if I go slash, I'm now searching in this document. As you can see, it's a // and so I'm going to type in error. There you go. Unfortunately, I still have incremental search on. It's going to show me with the first match that I find. There we go. I found it. If I press N, it will jump to the next one. There you go. See, as you can see, I'm pressing N, and it's jumping around. It'll eventually let me know that I've hit the top. And there we go. You can do capital N to walk backwards. All right. Awesome. So now we're just searching. We can now set some commands. Let's talk about some different commands you can set. Go like this. Set HLS, and then also do set IC. So I'm going to put them both in a single set command. What this will do is this will set any highlighted searches that we've done. So my last search is highlighted right now. As you can see, it's just sitting there. We searched up error. There's all the spots that it existed. If I start to retype error, you'll see that it highlights it everywhere. Here's all the places ER or E exists. Here's all the places that ER exists. Here's ERR, OR, and you can see it's slowly going down and doing it. You can do more than just that type of searching. You can add in regexes. Now, here's the thing with regexes. You've got to always go to regexlicensing.org. You're going to look on here and make sure you have you're going to see that there's a lot of typical disasters with regexes. Be careful with them. And you're going to check the citations and make sure you haven't been cited for any illegal uses of regexes. Don't put them into production, kids. Terrible idea. Awesome. And by the way, I am on the warning list. I'm on the no-fly regex list, so I'm kind of doing something a little out of my bounds right now. Please do not tell Guy that I've done this. I will be in big trouble. Awesome. All right, so I'm going to do .star. Look at it. It's matching everything, right? Then I'm going to do OR. You can see that it's matching across. So incremental search is incredible because it shows you how your search is matching up in that file. Highlight search, or HLS, not a big fan personally because after I've searched, I don't need all the things highlighted. And if I want them to go away, I have to manually type in no highlight search or have a remap. I haven't done a remap. I could do one. I could use this if I wanted to do that every single time. Not necessarily something I want to do, but it is available. All right, so let's do something a little bit different. You can go and you can highlight a region with V, do a visual mode, and then you can type in a colon. It will give you a ranged search. Now you can do a search and replace on this. You can just do a search on this. I can do a sweet error search across only that visual region. So here, let's tighten it up a little bit. Here, let me undo that. I'm going to just do these two. Whoopsies. I must have oh my goodness, must have done that one wrong. So let's just do this, and let's just make it a little bit more interesting. Honestly, let's just make it more interesting. Let's search over a region, but let's do a search and replace. What can we do with the search and replace? Well, how it works is it just works like it does in Ed. You do a search with a S / the token you're looking for slash the token you're going to replace it. So we can do the exact same thing here. I can search for error, and then I can replace it with something else. If you're doing a full file search, you do %s. If you're doing it over a visual range, you first select that visual range, and then do this, and then do s, and it can do it over a visual range. So there we go. I can start typing. Here's the 3 places that it found it. I can replace it with AOEU, which is my equivalent of your ASDF, and there we go. It replaced it, but notice something. It only replaced one of them in this line. Huh. It's pretty interesting, right? So let's go down here. I kind of have some stuff right in here to be able to do that. We're going to do it. Let's do it right here. Let's go all the way down to the foo section and do the same thing, but let's do it. Let's do it with Baz, right? I can sit on this line and type in s/foo, and you'll see it highlights all, and do bar, right? Or Baz. Notice it only does it one line at a time. So I can go up, do it over and over again. Notice how I'm executing that too. If I do s/, it's on a single line, %s for the whole file, or if you have a visual range selected, it is tick opening bracket, tick closing bracket, right? And that's a visual range. All right, but if we want to be able to replace them all, and at the same time, we can get to that line, and we could do foobar/g. Awesome. It'll globally across the line replace them. This should be pretty familiar. If you've ever used any regexes, this should feel pretty familiar at this point. You kind of know what that means. We can go down even further and do it again, but this time, let's do s/foobar/gc. I showed you this earlier. You can press yes for yes, replace it, or no, don't replace it. So I can go yes, no, yes, no. There we go. I was able to find, replace. Yes, no, yes, no. So you do have a lot of options when you're using the searching and the replacing. It's pretty fun. Let me show you a little bit of the ranged one down here. So let's say we wanted to do all the foos right here. Well, I could just highlight them, right? And then do s/foo/bar. It only did it over my highlight. I didn't have to worry about the other foos in there. That's pretty nice because you don't want to necessarily always be searching and replacing the entire file or just constrained to a single line. You want to be able to kind of select a region, right? We've already talked about the full file. It's awesome. So full file, find and replace, or full project, I kind of alluded to it in Quick Fix. You can use grepping across quick fixes and then use a cdo to be able to execute certain find and replaces on it globally. So it acts very similar, and then a write all to be able to write all of them. Awesome. So that's effectively find and replace. It works with regexes, but let's add in something that makes it a little bit more fun. Let's go like this. If let's have a term in here. Let's just call it foo for now. Here, I'm going to take off highlighted searches. So okay, we're kind of off the script right now. And let's just deal with it, right? And what I want to do is I want to be able to find and replace this, but let's go, oh man, you know what we did wrong? We meant to find everything that, we meant to search for falses, right? Not trues, but falses. I'm going to have to manually go in here and type in not foo, not bar, not Baz. Obviously, if this was a long list, you'd first question the person's programming talent, but instead, we're just simply going to go, okay, well, let's find and replace this and do this better, right? So one thing we could do, well, we could try to go, all right, well, there is this where I could go if space this, and then, all right, we can do that, and we can replace it. Oops, I forgot to do an s/. All right, we could replace it with if that bang. Awesome. Okay, that worked, right? We did something kind of cool there. We kind of replaced something in there, but you know, that's not as good, right? We could do something better. Let's try to do something a little bit better and a little bit more confusing. All right, so let's do this again, except for let's take foo and bar, or bar and Baz and foo, and swap them. So we can do this with find and replace and regexes. So we're going to do this. I'll highlight this region so it's just right here, right? I'll confine, you know, my search space. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to first look for a opening parenthesis. All right, we got it. I call this the one-eye Kirby. You're going to go fighting arm. Effectively, you're escaping a open parenthesis. Then you're going to do dot star. Then you're going to do a closing parenthesis. And then I'm going to do a space, amper, amper, space, another one-eye Kirby, and then I'm going to do another parenthesis right here. So there we go. So what I've effectively done is I've matched a group of characters, but I've put this escaped parentheses around them. What that tells my regex to do is that not only should we find that contiguous space of characters, but also I want to save it to a variable. So now I'm going to do a slash, and what I'll do is I'll go, OK, so let's see, we had a parenthesis. I'm going to do /2 and /1. Right? So /2 is the second matched group, /1 is the first matched group. So it should go bar foo. It should be able to effectively swap them, right? So let's hit enter. There we go. We kind of got it, but oh my goodness, look what happened. We totally got this wrong. So what happened here? Let's start playing with it, and let's see if we can kind of figure out what went wrong. So we're going to go back to this, and we're going to press up. All right. So let's start moving it back, right? Let's start walking it back. So notice what's happening as I'm writing this. If I just do this, you'll notice it highlights the whole region. OK, well, that's bad. So maybe I had myself some bad escaped items. No, because this seems to be working, right? Why is it that .star/this, why is it that this is not matching? So you can type it in, you see it, and then maybe try something else. What is 1? OK, awesome. I must have done something goofy there, didn't I? So let's try it again. Whoopsies, I just replaced it twice. All right, let's try /2. No, that also worked. I bet you that now that I've kind of did a little bit of diagnosticking, that the ampersand sign must have a meaning I don't understand. Look at that. It has a meaning I don't understand. OK, so if I wanted to replace this, I'm simply going to do /1 space /amper. You kind of have to experiment with this /2, and I bet you this will actually work. Don't forget to see, I forgot to wrap it with the rest of the stuff that we matched in the previous one. But as you see, I was able to flip them by typing them correctly by doing 2 and 1. There we go. I flipped them around, right? I know I had to do the other ampersand signs plus the squirrely brace. We just didn't do it, but you get the idea. I'm able to kind of work with it, see what happens, redo it over and over again, and you can see how you can find and replace with regexes. Also, this is a great example of why regexes are likely more confusing than you think they are. They often don't act the way you think they are. You think you understand what they're matching, and sometimes you're wrong. You're overmatching, you're undermatching, or you're executing some unknown variable that actually does something, right? Classic. It's the classic conundrum, right?